Oh my
I'm in.
gosh, there's no way.
Oh, to start things off, that would be so unfortunate. Did he draw? He drew for turn as well, I believe.
He drew for turn, played the trolley immediately, but Grant won the flip and chose to go second.
Why would you want to go second when you have trolley in your hand? That's a go
he
first
didn't know
thing.
he was going to have trolley as Oh my goodness, what a situation here.
Yeah.
So a couple things are going to have to happen. First, we'll have to identify what card was drawn unintentionally here. Grant will have to put it back into the deck. It'll get revealed to both players. It'll be shuffled back in.
Yeah, and I believe it was the basic Dark Energy. I think there's a disagreement on what the card was. The way Grant played the trolley so fast, I think TRUWIN thought he top decked trolley. But of course, we'll be able to go back in the VOD, figure it out, get the correct card put back into the deck. And I feel like this is most likely going to lead to a 2-prize penalty for Grant. I'm not 100% sure.
It definitely feels like that is likely the case. That is what happened. It's a very similar situation to the seniors final match, right?
Yep.
In EUIC just a couple of weeks ago where Jacob, going first, tried to play a supporter card, picked up his deck, wasn't able to do so, and got a 2-prize penalty right away. Wow, what a situation. See if we can get word on exactly how this is going to go. It does look like the card has been shuffled back into the deck at least now. And this is likely going to be a 2-prize penalty for Grant. TRUWIN will now only need to take 4 prizes to win this game, and that is massive.
Yeah, that is a very big deal. That is a Mega Knockout and, I don't know, a Dusclops on a smaller Pokemon. A Fan, well, I guess we're not KOing anything with Fandom. Everything's pretty tanky in Grant's deck. Okay, it looks like we got it resolved.
Wow, and it is just a warning.
Right.
Wow, that is huge, and that is a big sigh of relief for Grant SHEN on the left side of the table. Just a warning given to him, and TRUWIN will start things off with a Fan Rotom. So both of these players are going to get nice and established here. We know Grant has the precious trolley. TRUWIN knows it as well, and he will get out the Fan Rotom Fan Call, searching his deck for 3 Pokemon that are colorless type with 100 HP or less, adding them to the hand. Looks like Noctowl, Hoot Hoot being lined up initially. He did start that Charmander with the Agile ability. Does not look like he plays Ditto in his list, so won't be able to get any sort of transformative starts, but still pretty solid.
Yeah, no Nest Ball or Buddy Poffin as well. So the Klefki actually probably would have been pretty good here. The Absol would be stuck in the active, potentially going into Grant's turn. Would not be able to get into the Kangaskhan, and would have to commit a Turbo Energize Energy and Tool card to the active Absol if he wanted to use Turbo Energize in the first turn.
Oh.
So we're not going to see that. And does have the Terapagos in hand as well. So that will give us the active. Oh, we actually are going to
see the Klefki, yes.
I guess I missed that. That's a pretty big deal for slowing Grant down. And then the Terapagos as well.
Wow.
So we can guarantee access to those Noctowls going to the next turn. There's the pass over to Grant. Let's see how Grant handles this Klefki on this first turn.
Yeah, the Mischievous Lock. Oh my gosh, Grant top decked Dark Energy again. It's literally
meant to be.
It was definitely meant to be. So all as if nothing happened here. He's got that opening trolley. Taking a moment to think about it here, just how he'll navigate the rest of the turn. Of course, trolley going to be played now, as he will fill his board with any number of basic Pokemon that he would like, up to the maximum of 5.
Maybe considering saving it for later. Powerful card, of course, so...
Yeah, you think?
I don't know, it seemed like he was considering it. It is a good card. You don't want to give it up. He's like, this is a good. I want to save this for later. But no, of course it comes down here, and he's going to set up his optimal board, and that's what this deck does. Turn 1, every matchup you have a perfect 6 Pokemon, maybe sometimes 5 Pokemon you want to play. You might want a flex spot to work with, usually no more than 1. And with only 1 Kangaskhan prize, we'll get to fully see what Grant thinks is the ideal setup in this matchup.
Definitely Petrarunt, Yveltal, and the Kangaskhan brought down. We do know Grant has at least a Darkness Energy. The other key piece here is, of course, going to be to find a Technical Machine Turbo Energize.
Looks like it's contemplating the Psyduck. The thing with the Psyduck is it is important to prevent Dusknoir from being utilized, but if there's no Duskull in play, you don't have to put it in aggressively. You should make sure there's a bench space open for the Psyduck in the future. Of course, though, there's very limited Pokemon search cards in Grant's deck. It's not that easy to find Pokemon past the trolley use, especially when it's a one-of like the Psyduck.
So we'll hold off on the Psyduck for now. He does bring down Monkey Dory, so the board is going to be Petrarunt EX, Yveltal, Mega Kangaskhan EX, and the Monkey Dory, with that one flex spot being available, perhaps for a second Monkey Dory, perhaps for a Psyduck, depending on how TRUWIN chooses to develop his board. And with the shuffle of the deck, it doesn't seem like Grant has the Turbo Energize just yet, or at least has more he may want to do.
It does not surprise me at all that Grant doesn't know what that Charmander does. It does have free retreat when it has no energy attached to it, and that is how Truwin was able to get into the Klefki.
And this is an interesting way for Grant to get around the Klefki boss's orders, forcing up this Terapagos. It does have a pretty large 2 retreat cost, subjugating chains, pushing that Yveltal to the active spot. With the free retreat, it goes into the Mega Kangaskhan EX, and he does not find the Turbo Energize. He's got Arven for next turn. Does not have a way to juice his board just yet.
Yeah, it's going to have to take a turn off, but with no Duskull established from Truwin on the last turn. I mean, we could see an attack with Charizard here. Honestly, actually, the more thing about attacking with Charizard here, it seems pretty good. Or just attacking with the Terapagos for turn. Start to put on that initial pressure. But this doesn't take Grant off of that combo turn we talked about. Iona Watchtower plus attack with Absol can still build up towards that pretty safely due to the lack of Duskulls in play. But you will be, I don't know, a turn behind from where you'd want to be. This hit coming into the Kangaskhan, which I'm sure is on the way, does set up Truwin pretty well to be aggressive.
Truwin immediately goes into the Jewel Seeker ability of Noctowl, evolving up his Hoot Hoot and searching his deck for any 2 trainer cards. Of course, only getting that benefit if he has a Terra Pokemon in play. That requirement fulfilled by the active Terapagos EX. And he is eyeing up immediately Dawn, which is the card that really makes this deck tick. Such a powerful option. Searching your deck for a basic Pokemon, a stage 1 and a stage 2, works so nicely in a deck like this where you have so many different evolution lines that afford you so many different options.
Yep, that is truly the power of this deck, the card that brought all the power to this deck. Because we've seen Noctowl with Charizard previously, it just did not cut it until we had access to the Dawn card, and now we see the card having, or the deck having a ton of success. And with that Candy Pidgeot, that's exactly what you want to set up on this next turn.
I don't think he quite has a Charizard to juice the board with energy just yet, though.
And that's why I'm questioning that potential Area 0 placement. I think until we are attacking, I don't think we want to throw an Area 0 down or avoid putting Area 0 in play in general. Actually, we see the quick search for the Jet Energy. Are we just going back into Klefki?
Yeah, he may feel like pushing the Klefki is going to be advantageous for him here. Could also get some damage in play, I suppose, with the Fan Rotom. That doesn't necessarily feel great. You usually want to try to combo together big turns where you're taking one-hit knockouts or effective one-hit knockouts through your use of Cursed Blast. And he's actually going to hold on to the energy, just setting up for a future turn. What's he planning, Azul?
Yeah, the pass there, I think, is building up towards the combo turn already of Charizard and Candy Dusknoir. The problem with this, though, is if Grant can just find the Watchtower this turn, I think Grant's just going to throw it down and get it in play right now. We did see Truwin have to extend. I guess Truwin did conceal a card off the Quick Search. We used Quick Search, and the card was definitely not played. So it could be the secondary Area 0 waiting to counter the Watchtower. But as Grant here, you could definitely just get aggressive with the Watchtower if you can find it.
Grant uses the Run Errand to draw himself a couple of cards. Does not look like Watchtower was one of them, so he'll have to settle for Arven, and this is still solid, of course. The only way to really get these attackers powered up is through the use of Technical Machine Turbo Energize, throwing a bunch of energy cards into play, getting Mega Absol ready to go, setting up with a Pokegear 3.0 as his item for the next turn.
Yeah, getting all set up, going to get the Absol online, have that as a threat. In response, probably to Truwin getting aggressive on the next turn, I think with Truwin's hand, we could see the KO on the Absol go down. We might be one card short, actually. We might be like a top deck away. And he's also able to establish a Psyduck. That's a big point here for Grant. That will force the Jet Klefki combo on the side of Truwin.
There is the TM Turbo Energize, and yeah, right back into the deck. 2 Darkness Energies being searched out. Going on to that Mega Absol EX now back over to Truwin, who does find Rare Candy from the top. That is not too bad.
Yeah, I think that sets it up.
And that is a lot of potential here for this turn. He could piece together a crazy combo right now, Azul.
Yeah, I think Pidgeot for Dawn, then the Noctowl can pull together Prime Catcher and Rare Candy, and I believe the Dusknoir is in the hand. That would lead to Candy Charizard, Candy Dusknoir, Jet up the Klefki, and then Prime Catcher up the Absol after you've utilized the Dusknoir. And you can actually take the knockout with the Terapagos. I don't know if that's really that big of a deal. I think the one thing I would like to see here from Truwin, though, make happen would be, I think actually And I'm trying to put all the numbers together in my head. I think we can get 2 energy established on the Pidgeot this turn with the Jet and the third Fire, and then take the knockout on the Absol with Dusknoir and Charizard. This would mean our Terrapagos has no energy on it, which could be a little bit awkward. This also does require 2 mobility cards to pull off, which means the Yveltal from Grant Shen becomes a lot bigger of a threat. So we'll see fully how TRUWIN decides to put this turn together. I think you have to go now, though, because you only have bench space for 1 Charmander. So that becomes a big target for Grant on the next turn and could make it awkward for you to continue to play the game.
It will be Dawn grabbed from that quick search, finding out a basic Pokemon Stage 1 and Stage 2. Charmander, Noctowl, and Charizard EX added into this hand. And there is still much yet to be played here as Rare Candy and Prime Catcher are being brought up to the forefront of the deck. He will Rare Candy into Charizard EX here, bringing a few Fire Energies out, but not before going in with the Jewel Seeker. There is that Rare Candy and Prime Catcher added now. He actually could save a Jet Energy. It would come at the cost of not putting an energy on Terrapagos, right? He could put the Fire Energy on the Klefki, Prime Catcher it up, right, and then retreat it.
Yeah, and I think I do like that a little bit more. The mobility cards are very high value in this matchup because of the Yveltals of Grant Shen. So yeah, good spot there. Can put the third Fire on the Klefki. That means we don't get an energy on the Pidgeot to utilize its attack to bump a potential Watchtower. And that is still a win condition for Grant as well, not just the mobility cards, the lack of mobility cards, abusing that with Yveltal, but Watchtower Iono attack with Absol is good. But I guess the Absol is being taken care of here. And yeah, I think TRUWIN is onto that Klefki attachment here as he's setting it up.
That is where the Fire Energy goes. Prime Catcher bringing up the Mega Absol EX. Up comes Klefki, Mischievous Lock, shutting down the damp ability of Psyduck. Rare Candy into Dusknoir, Cursed Blast. Now online, he'll pop that Pokemon and place 130 damage onto this active Mega Absol EX. Grant is awarded 1 prize card for this, but that is a trade-off TRUWIN is more than fine with, as he will retreat his Klefki into this Charizard EX, and now Burning Darkness, dealing 210 base, more than enough to deal with Mega Absol, and TRUWIN is not done yet. Super Odd placing those powerful cards back into the deck, and Nestball can bring the Duskull back down again.
Yeah, TRUWIN is not slowing down at all and setting up for another potential Dusknoir play. And there's really no threat to this Charizard here from Grant, so no backup Charmander, no problem. And Grant, it feels like, needs to get into a clutch play this turn to start to slow this game down. Finding the Watchtower and an Iono combo would also be good, but honestly, if you just find the Watchtower here, I think you could be fairly confident TRUWIN does not have the Counter Stadium in hand after that huge combo.
Definitely a lot of pressure being placed on Grant at this point in the game. Things are going to start to run away very, very quickly. It's a 5-3 prize card deficit now for him. Earthen Vessel will kick off his sequence here, finding 2 Darkness Energy from the deck. Of course, 1 necessary for the clutch on Yveltal, should that be his line. And that seems like really the only strategy here that would be helpful. He also would love to find Iono to combo with this, disrupting TRUWIN's massive hand, sending it to the bottom of the deck, leaving him with just 3 cards, and hoping for a Noctowl, I imagine. Here are the Darkness Energy now added to his hand. He still has Run Errand to use somewhere along the line, but not before a Pokégear 3.0 will peep the top 7. Looking for a supporter card to add to the hand. No Iono just yet. There is that Watchtower. I'm sure he would love to grab it, but of course, Pokégear 3.0 only finds you supporter cards. It's going to be the Arven as the choice, just thinning that card out.
Yeah, it does feel like Grant was probably trying to maximize the odds of finding the combination of Iono and Watchtower there. So Pokégear, of course, you can reach for the Iono first, and then hope to Run Errand. Finds us the Watchtower. That was a whiff, and now we're into the Run Errand.
Run Errand finds Cypher Maniac and the Darkness Energy. If he could bring down Pheasantipity, Cypher Maniac could set up at least the Watchtower, but no Pheasantipity found. It will be an Arven as his supporter for turn.
Yeah, and speaking of that, we did see Grant Shen not get the Psyduck initially with the trolley, and then had to use a Nest Ball on the previous turn to find the Psyduck to protect from the Dusknoir combo. That could have been that Pheasantipity this turn, plus 3 cards. Who knows where that could have led us. And now, for Grant, I assume that we're going to get a counter catcher off this Arven, but it looks like he's opting not to, so we might just be giving over TRUWIN the possibility of a boss knockout on this following turn, and only being a boss away from winning the game. Or I guess, honestly, Candy Dust, that could be the full combo this turn to win the game.
TRUWIN could win the game this
Okay, there's the counter catcher. It'll make it a little harder for sure, but TRUWIN could still win the game this turn.
Counter catcher is found off the Arvin along with another TM Turbo Energize. Night Stretcher will bring a Pokemon or a basic energy card back from the discard pile into play. Looks like Mega Absol perhaps getting juiced once again here. Attach of an energy for turn. Turbo Energize to the active. Yeah. And will he hold off on that counter catcher?
I mean, I feel like you have
to for a powerful play next turn. How many Darkness Energy are left in the deck as well, Azul, is a question here, as he does have 2 in his hand.
Hopefully at least 1. 2. Well, there's 1.
Yeah, just 1.
Yeah, and actually, currently, I think TRUWIN does just have game in hand here. I think I'd like to see that counter catcher get played here from Grant. He set in for a different play on the next turn. Doesn't feel like it's a good enough investment, but I'm pretty sure quick search here for Noctowl, and then Noctowl finding Rare Candy and Boss's Orders. Oh, actually, no, the Dusknoir's in the deck.
He doesn't need Boss's Orders. He can KO the active Kangaskhan as well.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, so Rare Candy and Ultra Ball gets him back Dusknoir. He just shuffled back the Dusknoir from the Super Rod, and he can use the Jet Energy in his hand to push Klefki active. He should have this full piece here. He's just got to make sure to sequence it properly. It does look like Quick Search found him out the Noctowl. Noctowl now can grab out the Rare Candy and the Ultra Ball off the Jewel Seeker. Dusknoir is available in the deck, and Jet Energy in hand, the last card needed of this sequence, will send Klefki into the active spot. Mischievous Lock cutting off the damp ability, and TRUWIN TRAN with 2 attacks will take this first game of the finals.
Yeah, that's a pretty quick game. Won their back-to-back mega knockouts. Yeah, I didn't even clock that the Kangaskhan was still in the active. I thought we were at least safe from that. Needed the extra piece. That could have made things a little bit more awkward, but yeah, not quite enough. And although Grant didn't know the Jet Energy was on hand, could have made it a little bit more awkward with that counter catcher, but was building up towards a bigger play. Didn't think it was worth that investment. Need to see a little bit more. Yeah, I think he was looking for that INO and that Watchtower for sure on that last turn there.
Yeah, let's recap that game number 1. And I think the big thing here, Grant was a turn slow in this game. He missed the opening Turbo Energize. He had the trolley, which was great, but not being able to get those energy in play put him a turn behind as far as attacking goes, and he actually never got to use Claw of Darkness at all.
Yeah, never got to get there. And that's exactly what we want to see on the Charizard side of things. You just want to build up towards that combo. We actually saw it kind of similarly in the series from Julius earlier on in the day, where he kind of did the same thing. He just set up until he could get one-hit KOs on Mega Pokemon. Similar from here from TRUWIN, but a lot faster. It was, what, turn 2, turn 3?
Yeah.
TRUWIN was swinging and did have that extra turn to work with, like you mentioned, the whiff of that Turbo Energize. Gave a lot of freedom to TRUWIN to kind of do whatever he wants and took full advantage of that extra time to get that first Mega Knockout, and then following up pretty cleanly with that second Mega KO for a 1-0 start.
7 cards going out now for both these players, opening hands of game number 2. Grant probably feeling a little dejected here, unsure how to approach things now that he has lost the very first game. He's going to have to win 2 in a row if he wants to be the player to become the champion. TRUWIN now just 1 game removed from wearing that medal when all is said and done. Here we go. Grant did choose to go second once again. And yeah, it's the same starters. Mega Absol EX and Charmander on the side for TRUWIN. TRUWIN will use the Nest Ball, searching his deck for a basic Pokemon. And getting a peep over there at Grant's hand, Azul. Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Yeah, it looks like a trolley, and I think Grant has it a little bit better than the last game. I see a Mist Energy and a Turbo Energize in the hand as well. So
all right.
Who needs Arvin at this point? I mean, we should just cut the Arvins from this deck. On TRUWIN's side, has also a pretty similar opening. The only thing TRUWIN is missing is that Terra Pokemon, so I don't think TRUWIN is going to be able to go with that Klefki the way he was able to in game number 1. That second Nest Ball is going to have to be committed to a Terrapagos EX, so he can guarantee access to the Noctowls on the following turn, because there is no Ditto. Otherwise, if we had the Ditto, well, I guess it still wouldn't quite work. We'd be a mobility card short, so yeah, not the perfect setup, but still pretty solid.
What do you mean, bro? The Charmander schmoovin there with the Agile ability. Get that to the bench, right? Get the Ditto up and running.
Oh, no, that would work. Yeah, we make a Ditto into the Klefki. Yeah. But yeah, you want to get the Noctowl, the Pidgey, the Hoot. So who knows if even if we had that as a possibility here from TRUWIN, we might not even make that play.
There's 3 colorless Pokemon now added, and here comes the Nest Ball, and sure enough, it will be ensuring the Terrapagos. So Grant will have free reign to use his basic Pokemon's abilities, and the rest of the hand, honestly, for TRUWIN, not looking the strongest. Going to have to fully rely on the Noctowl on his next turn. Now for Grant, this is just about as good as it gets. Precious Trolley bringing down as many basic Pokemon as he would like. And look at this, no reaction at all. Calm, cool, and collected. He knows he's the player down a game here. He needs to fight back.
Yeah, and actually got even better. Grant top decked the Erica's Invitation. I was about to say Hospitality. I'm pretty sure there's a card called Erica's Hospitality, but Erica's Invitation.
Yeah.
And there's a bench space open, something that we didn't see in all of game number 1. I'm pretty sure TRUWIN never had a possibility for the Erica's Invitation here. And we see this time Grant committing to the Psyduck, not playing around this time, wants to have the flexibility of the nest balls later on, doesn't want to have to commit that to the Psyduck later in the game. So, yeah, we don't even need to see a specific supporter played here from Grant. He has the flexibility to play any supporter he wants to try and make things as difficult for TRUWIN on the next turn as possible. Of course, with no Duskulls on the bench, there's not that much TRUWIN can do.
For Grant here, pretty tame prize cards, it looked like. A couple supporters, a counter catcher, nothing too bad. And we do see the classic Eviltal switch in with the subjugating Chains of Petrurunt into the retreat of the Mega Kangaskhan. Now run errands, drawing a couple cards, another energy, another Turbo Energize.
And it's considering the, yeah, I like to see the Dark Energy. You want to have the flexibility of your energy switches as soon as possible for that energy committed to the Kangaskhan. So it was initially looking like it was going to be the miss, but then realized, oh wait, I got the Dark Energy. Even better, let's commit that. And actually might just not even play a supporter this turn. Like I mentioned the Erica's Invitation, it's in there. There's a bench space open. It might be hard to find time to play it later in the game, so I kind of like it here.
Get a little hand information, see what else TRUWIN is working with as well, off after the Jewel Seeker.
Yeah, maybe you can catch a Pheasantipity is like the big card I could think of, and there is no basic Pokemon here to be caught, but you have full info of what's coming on that next turn.
Seeing everything TRUWIN has access to. Of course, Erica's Invitation, a pretty unique one, a card that's been played sporadically, mostly in stall strategies, was pretty solid in the Snorlax deck that I know you were a fan of. You used to win a regional championships yourself. Looking at your opponent's hand and revealing any basic Pokemon they have there, putting it onto the bench and bringing it into the active spot. Not an option here for Grant, as he will just Turbo Energize a couple energies into play onto Mega Absol EX, and TRUWIN immediately into the Jewel Seeker, wasting no time, searching out a Rare Candy and a Dawn. This will get him whatever combo pieces together he would like.
Yeah, and of course, you're going to want to get that Pidgeot EX online, and aggressively lining up the Klefki as well there. And looking at the board state, only one Monkey Dory down. It is possible for a terminal period to happen, but building up damage and play on these Mega Pokemon is also very valuable. I wonder if we'll see TRUWIN actually Candy Pidgeot, Candy Charizard if it's available, and then just go for a swing into the Kangaskhan, because it is possible for the terminal period, but I think it's pretty unlikely with the current board state.
Yeah, I don't think he has the ability to quite... Oh, no, he does have Pidgeot in hand, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Dawn can get the Charizard. He actually could get Charizard out here if he wants to. Let's see if he does. He did prize a Rare Candy. That is a piece here. He does play the full 4. And with one being prized, it makes it a little harder to pull together his big Dusknoir combos were he to expend 2 here on this opening turn.
Yeah,
Second
definitely.
turn.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, we'll see how TRUWIN chooses to approach this. We see the Klefki getting lined up alongside the Charmeleon. Might just try and go wide here with an Area 0, get some Duskulls established to set up for that big combo turn, or get another Charmander down plus Candy Charizard to start swinging. And we do see the Charizard getting grabbed. I think you'd grab that no matter what off the Dawn here, so it's not a for sure indicator of Candy Charizard, but still a possibility.
Yeah, feels like it will be Candy Pidgeot, and then quick search, finding out any one card from the deck. Could perhaps just set the board up a bit more efficiently with a Buddy Poffin. Get down another Hoot, get down another Charmander. There will still be a Duskull lacking from the bench here, but perhaps he will decide to go that route.
Yeah, you do kind of want all 3 of those, right? And it feels like you have to get a Charmander here. And if you don't get the Duskull, you're not putting the pressure on Grant that you really want to be. And honestly, as I'm seeing this play develop, that's kind of why I like just getting the hit in there with Charizard, because the terminal period is just not, it doesn't seem like it's going to be super available. And this also forces an Area 0 as well to get the full setup going. And that is one of the few ways we have to deal with that Watchtower.
There will be a Duskull and a Charmander. I actually wonder for TRUWIN here, should something besides Klefki have been found from the Dawn? Perhaps one of those other 3 basic Pokemon, right? And Hoot, a Charmander, or a Duskull, so that all of those could hit the bench here. Yes, Klefki, a card he wants to have available.
Oh.
He's going to go aggressive with it, though, pushing it here. And that actually, you know, Azul, without a boss's orders on Grant's side, he wouldn't be able to use Mega Absol here.
Yeah, that could make things pretty awkward. There's a high chance of there being a boss's orders in the hand.
Or Penny, I suppose, right?
Yeah, Penny would also work. And there is the boss's orders there. Question for Grant is just, what do you boss? And then what does the attack even look like? We could attack with Absol here. There's a mist energy in hand. Or if we can find a dark energy, do we ever use Clutch from Yveltal? But with Charmeleon being the focus, I think we're going to finally see that first Claw of Darkness from Grant.
Not before the use of a run errand, though. Drawing 2 cards from the top of the deck. Another boss added. Could be strong moving forward here. And Grant will attach a Mist Energy to the Mega Absol EX. He'll use that Subjugating Chains to push active Yveltal and then retreat into Mega Absol. Claw of Darkness will take out Charmeleon. And we are finally going to see Grant be able to strip a card from TRUWIN's hand. And this is where things could get scary for TRUWIN. He has a Charizard EX in this hand that he just grabbed off of the Dawn. Grant could take that resource away. He also could take away the Iono, which is the only draw card in the hand currently.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to do anything big this turn from TRUWIN without that Iono. We see Grant is considering that. No Hoot Hoot on the bench for the potential of the Noctowl combo. I was going to say, one of the things that is sometimes scary about leaving the Klefki in play and knocking out something else is the Klefki can be pushed to more easily set up a Dusknoir combo against the Psyduck. But in this situation, I don't think TRUWIN's going to be able to do too much by initiating by pushing up the Klefki. We actually see the Dusclops getting targeted from Grant here, kind of, I think, knowing that TRUWIN won't be able to do an aggressive play this turn, and that would lead to an easier setup on a future turn.
If maybe forcing TRUWIN here to use a rare candy onto a Charizard if he wants to get one of those into play, and that limits his access to Dusknoir later in the game if this Dusclops does go down, which of course it did. Now, TRUWIN here into the quick search right away, searching for any one card. It does look like rare candy being lined up. So Charizard EX likely going to be coming out here, as a couple of energy cards are also brought to the front of the deck. Of course, Infernal Rain, that powerful ability on Charizard EX, so strong as it juices your attackers into play and also gets your powerful stage 2 up and running. Up comes the Charmander. There it is, rare candy into that Charizard. 3 energies from the deck. 2 onto Charizard. Where does the other one go? Or perhaps does he attack with Terapagos?
Yeah, maybe you just try and force your way through the Absol with a couple of attacks, and then you'd probably rather, well, the Terapagos, I guess, could be killed by a Monkey Dory plus a Claw of Darkness. That'd be a little awkward. You probably want to force the full terminal period, which once again, Grant is not that well set up for. It is possible. The other thing to consider here in the sequence here, from TRUWIN is the Nest Ball top deck, which could have become the Pheasantipity before the quick search. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Nest Ball still potentially become the Pheasantipity, or maybe a Hoot Hoot before playing this Iono.
TRUWIN debating where this last energy will go, Terapagos or Pidgeot, and it does go on to Pidgeot EX, perhaps a nod to preparing to blustery wind away a future Rocket's Watchtower.
Yep, so here we go with that Nest Ball, and it looks like the Hoot Hoot is going to be the target, setting that up to give yourself more combo potential in the future, and I assume the Iono will follow this, but, I mean, I guess I could see a world where we don't Iono here. We'd be really hoping the terminal period does not happen then, though.
I mean, maybe he doesn't want to Iono. He is going to go for it, but perhaps there's an argument of not playing the Iono because TRUWIN's going to draw 6 cards off of this, and he's going to potentially be facing down a Claw of Darkness. He could lose a valuable resource here, whereas if he had not played Iono, he would effectively protect his hand.
Yep, and the draw there, pretty good. Gets a follow-up Charmander just in case of a terminal period. If we even attack this turn from TRUWIN, I wonder if TRUWIN is maybe going to retreat to the Klefki and then pass with it once again in the active. It feels like the Charizard attack, to me the Charizard attack is just kind of too tempting to pass up, but I can see TRUWIN taking it a little bit slower until can fully remove this Mega Pokemon from play. Don't allow for any damage built up to be utilized through Monkey Dory.
It's always a bit of give and take. When do you be patient? When do you find yourself reserving, holding back from going aggressive with an attack? And when do you go all out? And when do you start swinging into these Pokemon and force your opponent to have the answer?
And it feels like with that Hoot Hoot grab here from TRUWIN, well, I guess we have the Pidgeot as a follow-up. We could still see the attack this turn. Let's see what TRUWIN opts for. And now the attach to the Terapagos. So yeah, we have a couple different attacking options, and looks like we are just going to swing with the Charizard.
Looks like TRUWIN is happy to get some damage into play. Charizard EX is Burning Darkness, dealing 180 base damage, and then 30 more for each prize card your opponent has taken. 210 at this point. Of course, could be lining up for a terminal period response KO. But Grant would need a lot of cards to make that happen. He does have a Darkness Energy for the Monkey Dory. Actually, all he would really need now is a penny, and he does have a penny here, Azul. He could attach the Monkey Dory, use Adrenaline Brain, penny the Monkey Dory, use it once again, and that would be a terminal period.
We would be one energy switch short in that sequence there, Chip. We need...
only can attach.
Yeah. Almost there, but it was possible. And this is where it all starts. But I don't see a way to get more cards into this hand for Grant. So I think we're going to have to settle for... Honestly, I'm not sure. I wouldn't... Maybe was a clutch play ever a reality there for Grant? Petron up the Yveltal.
He does have Boss's Orders in hand.
You don't have Watchtower to go with it, of course.
He could just chase a Pokemon, take a knockout, maybe on the Klefki.
Well, you have the Monkey Door, so you could get the Trap Ghost for the 2 prizes here. Go down to 3 remaining. But TRUWIN is still looking to be in a very good spot. Has that double Hoot in play. Still has access to the Quick Search. Yeah, I don't think you're ever bringing this up and not KOing it here as Grant. There's a Claw of Darkness. You're hoping for a very high value card here, but honestly, TRUWIN's hand is okay. You don't even need to use Dusknoir next turn.
Dawn may be the strongest option. Well, I don't know. All the Pokemon are in his hand, right?
Yeah, I almost think that Pheasant... I don't.
Dawn
honestly,
does cut him off of just easily getting a Noctowl, right?
The hand is just so bad, which is so good for TRUWIN. Like, it's just so mediocre. Like, it's like, this is whatever.
Doesn't mind losing really any of that. And Grant will jump farther ahead here as far as the prize trade goes, but his heavily damaged Mega Absol in the active spot.
I do have to think that Dusknoir was probably the correct take there, as it limits a potential Dusknoir play this turn. But if there's the recovery cards prize for TRUWIN, or TRUWIN can't find those, Dusknoir might not be an option. I feel like the Dawn there was extremely low value.
TRUWIN could win the game this turn here, Azul, if he uses Rare Candy into Dusknoir and KOs the active Mega Absol EX. Grant would go down to 2 prize cards remaining, and then Burning Darkness could deal 300 damage and KO the Mega Kangaskhan EX off the bench.
Yeah,
if
you are right.
He has the Dusknoir in hand. If he has a Rare Candy remaining available,
what would we need? We just
need Prime Catcher and Rare Candy. Prime Catcher, Rare Candy is game.
I mean, that should be available, I feel like, here. Do a Noctowl. I don't see...
Yeah, he does have a Rare Candy prize. I think there's only 2 in his discard pile, though, so he should still have a Rare Candy available.
Oh, I think maybe TRUWIN
Maybe he's piecing it together here, Azul. There's the Prime Catcher for sure.
He went back to the Fire Energy, I think.
So it doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it. I'm pretty sure he had win.
Yeah, I think he had game there. I think you're right, Chip. That would have worked out, and that makes getting rid of the Dusknoir that much more important from Grant on the previous turn. And now, maybe then pushing the Klefki feels so weird there from TRUWIN. TRUWIN was like hoping for a top deck to be able to get
And he literally just quick searched for a way to move the Klefki.
Yeah, that felt like TRUWIN was on to what you were on to there, but then that makes that quick search a little awkward.
He is going to retreat that Klefki so he gets access to his Phesantipodes, flip the script, and he will take the knockout here on with the Charizard EX. He is responding, tying the game up here. 3 prize cards taken a piece for these competitors.
Yeah, I'm trying to come up with a flaw for your line, but yeah, I think you're right, Chip. That was game on the previous turn. TRUWIN still, I think, very much in command of this game. The Watchtower, I feel like, needs to be found right now for Grant Shen, comboed with an Iono most likely, and I don't think I see any of those pieces. I mean, Clutch does not seem very impactful for the amount of mobility cards still remaining for TRUWIN with the backup of double Hoot. With
the quick search in play as well. Like, he's not going to be cut off from any of his resources. What can Grant do? Just a pass?
Oh, no.
And then now... I mean, all TRUWIN needs now is Rare Candy, Dusknoir, get the Klefki into the active spot, and I think if he has an energy card, should have it lined up here, Azul. He can use the Prime Catcher, bring up that Mega Absol EX. He can use Rare Candy into his Dusknoir and take a KO on the Absol after that damage is placed.
Yeah, this time... I forgot about the Kangaskhan in game 1. There's Kangaskhan in the active, so we don't even need to Prime Catcher.
True, great point, and he'll do just that. And Charizard's Burning Darkness takes down the Mega Kangaskhan, and TRUWIN TRAN is a regional champion.
TRUWIN TRAN winning with the Charizard Noctowl deck. Yeah, insane. insane game there. Able to put the combos together, turn after turn, and close it.